Coming up on Up at Noon, in case you haven't heard, the Nintendo NX is called the Switch. Let's talk about it. Red Dead Redemption 2 looks really pretty, and Wolverine is getting old, and he's just calling himself Logan now. All that and more right now on Up at Noon Live.
Yeah! Wow! Where do we start?
First of all, let's talk about our sick hats.
Let's talk about our sick hats. Mario and the Cowboy, together at last.
Cowboy, coming soon to all kinds of different systems.
Welcome to Up at Noon. I'm Brian Altano. This is Max Scoville. Up at Noon is our weekly comedy variety, just hodgepodge of nonsense show we do right here on IGN. You can also watch it on YouTube, on Twitch, on PS4, on the Xbox One apps, on Roku, on Apple TV, on Facebook, pretty much everywhere. We'll also be managing and manning the Twitter hashtag Up at Noon throughout the entire show. This is live. We are live. We wrote a show yesterday.
Yep, that
we
sucked.
We threw it in the toilet.
We actually were entirely on schedule for one of the 3 times we've ever been on schedule with getting the show together.
Yep.
And then we had to throw it all away because a bunch of new stuff happened.
Yeah, which is a good problem to have. Some amazing news broke this morning. Brand new trailers. Before we get into any of that, we want to give a thank you to our sponsor, Max.
Mafia 3.
That's right.
We owe them a favor, and they collect. Yeah, Mafia 3, it's out now, Xbox, PS4, and PC. You can feed people to alligators. That's really the important part. Great soundtrack. And there's actually a contest going on. If you go to this link right here, it's go.ign.com/mafia3_sweeps. You can do this postcard contest where you can send these fun postcards from New Bordeaux out to your pals. And if you share a postcard on Twitter, you can get an extra entry for a chance to win some cool prizes. I have postcards here.
Yeah, really cool prizes, by the way. You can get a Mafia 3 Collector's Edition of the game, a Mafia 3 duffel bag, fuzzy dice, and more.
Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, I guess we should just get into it. What do you want to start with?
I was thinking we could talk about our favorite Robert Redford movies.
Oh, yeah, on Golden Pond.
That's a really good one.
Was he in that? I never saw it. Also, I don't care.
River for
Let's
Dads.
talk about Nintendo.
Let's talk about Nintendo. A brand new Nintendo console was revealed this morning called the Nintendo Switch. Codenamed the NX for the longest time. We've heard rumors about this thing. There hasn't been a single industry event we've gone to as IGN in the last year. We haven't heard rumblings of some sort of what this thing actually is. So today we got to see it for the very first time. It's just like Nintendo, completely different than anything we really expected, even in our wildest dreams. So the base unit of this thing is a tablet, and we don't know exactly if that's a touchscreen tablet or multi-touch tablet or not, but the big thing here is that it's got these control apparatuses called Joy-Con left and Joy-Con right that pop and slide off of it. They also form together to make one controller or can work as individual controllers in multiplayer games. This thing is portable. It's got a home console docking station.
We've got this funky trailer. I basically took the trailer and cut out all the parts that had people just like smiling and laughing because I don't like looking at that.
Yeah.
But here's what the actual thing looks like. If you missed it, he's basically transfarring with Zelda.
Yep.
And now he's at the park and he's playing it. And it's kind of hard to get a sense of how big this thing is or how much it weighs, but I would say this is about the size of an iPad mini.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, it runs on cartridges. Do we know that for sure?
Yes, we know that for sure. There's a sort of glamour shot of the cartridge slot at one point.
And Skyrim.
Yeah, so here's the big thing about this. You probably never thought to yourself, I want to bring my console everywhere because it's heavy and unwieldy and it's difficult to do that. I travel back to New Jersey to see my family all the time. I'm there for 5 days. I want to bring my PS4 because my parents go to bed at 8:30, and I can't because it's too heavy. This is a really cool twist on that. I don't know if this will sort of defeat mobile gaming or anything like that. I don't think it aims to. I think like everything else, this is just a cool new product, a cool new toy that they're making. This is the next step in Nintendo. Like this feels like the Wii U were training wheels for what this has become. As you can see, brand new Mario game, vaguely Egyptian Western themed in parts. Amiibos in the background, so this will have an NFC reader of some kind.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but I feel like it is for the first time in a while Nintendo really hitting on all their strong points. It's both a handheld, which they're good at. It is a console that isn't entirely gimmicky. Like it's not.
Yep.
It's technically 2 screens, but it's not like the Wii U, so it will have third-party support. And then, of course, it's party-focused.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's kind of like you want to play Smash Brothers or Mario Kart with your friends, like bring it to a party. it's something that people have been doing with N64s in their dorm rooms for 20 years now. So.
I really like that. I mean, like the idea of like you and me flying to E3, which is an hour flight, and popping this thing onto the tray table and grabbing a controller each and just playing Mario Kart for a few rounds is really cool. Like, it's not the kind of thing that we really think about as something we would ever do with the video game system. There were videos and pictures of people, guys like Nick Robinson over at Polygon, who actually lugged their Nintendo Wii U on a planes and plugged it into the charging adapter down there and had stewardesses come by and help them build Mario Maker levels. That's a lot. There's just a whole lot going on. So in this case, the fact that this thing is sleek and portable is really, really cool. They've got a bunch of great games lined up for it. We saw new stuff from Zelda. We saw new stuff from Mario Kart, new stuff from Splatoon, and a brand new 3D Mario, which they kind of just threw out there all at the same time. This is going to be the place to play Nintendo first-party games. Obviously, it's also going to be the place to play, hopefully, handheld games. So the weird thing is, as we're seeing the Wii U completely die off, Paper Mario is basically the last big game that you'll see outside of Zelda, which is still unknown when we'll actually be playing that game. And the Nintendo 3DS handheld line, which is sort of dying down. You've got Pokemon this fall. After that, not a ton of big hitters. It's cool to see them merging all of that into one place. Yeah. For the longest time, you had to be sort of a dual pillar Nintendo fan, where you would play one thing on one system and one thing on another. But consolidating that into one place in this sort of console handheld hybrid is incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, cautiously optimistic. I think it has way more of a purpose than the Wii U did.
Yeah.
Like the Wii was doing something incredibly just like it was its own thing, and I feel like the Wii U is trying to kind of like bottle that lightning, but sort of missing the point too. So in this case, this is something cool to look forward to.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, the Nintendo Switch looks very cool, but we do have our concerns, you know, early on, like we should. So here are some things we probably should keep in mind.
We've got about 1 billion questions about this thing, obviously. We still don't know anything about battery life or price or weight or anything. We're basing everything on what we saw today, but we can, you know, hypothesize as you do.
Sure.
So what are your concerns about this thing?
I mean, number one is the price. We've kind of just recently seen this thing with the PlayStation VR, where they're like, it's only $400. But you need this thing, and then that thing, and unless you have those things from 4 years ago, you're going to need some of those too. So in this case, it's like, what's the default kind of configuration? Because you know you're going to get out of the box. I'm guessing it's going to have kind of the Pro Controller joystick setup.
Yeah.
But you might also want the regular Pro Controller on its own.
Yep.
You might also want to get the weird little kind of classic ones that clip on there.
Yep.
And what's the interaction between those things in different games?
Yeah, if you think about what you're actually getting in the box, you're getting the tablet, which you and I both bought Kindle Fires recently, which go for $40 on Amazon. Mm-hmm. So I mean that's a decent enough display for next-gen-ish games. I'd like something a little bit better than that. But no, Nintendo, they're going to find that spot between comfortable, cheap, and durable, because kids will be smashing this thing in the back of a car. You'll get the 2 Joy-Con controllers, and you'll get that charging dock. My guess is, price-wise, this is going to be around $249 to $299.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's going to be that high.
Huh.
$199 would be the like absolute sweet spot, clean up the stores.
Yeah.
But $249, $299 is a little bit different. Nintendo doesn't like to sell systems without making a profit on day one, for the most part. This is a thing that like they're not going to take a bath on, you know?
I wasn't going to say that high. I was going to say that low. I think $249 is. It feels like. I mean, that's a smart price, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see on that front. Obviously, you know, a lot of stuff from this trailer we don't know about. You know, like, is it a touchscreen? Is it a good one? You know, how responsive is it? The peripherals and all that. And then, what are the limitations of memory cards? You know?
Yeah, my big concern is obviously I've bought tons of Wii U games and Wii games, and I want those games to carry over. If on day one I can get 100 games at launch, all my old classic Virtual Console games, all of my things like Super Mario 3D World and Mario Kart 8, Smash Brothers. So, yeah, I guess you know, we can pretty much hypothesize until we're blue in the face.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot going on here. One thing we do know for sure is that third parties are on board for the first time in a very long time. Nintendo tweeted out this image today. If you want to take a look at this, it's just everybody. So we're going to speed around through this and just this is exciting. Mm-hmm. It's actually harder to find who is missing than who is actually included.
Sure.
So right off the bat, we're going to go through each game, each company real quick. I'll give you a real quick rundown of some of their more notable games, and whether or not those are actually coming to the Switch, we'll see. So let's start with 505 games. Recently, they've done Payday, Abzu, which I adore, and Adrift, which is that sort of VR space-focused game. Activision, obviously, Call of Duty, Skylanders, Destiny. Arc System Works, fighting games like BlazBlue and Guilty Gear, so that's already like a pretty good lineup. Atlas, they do Persona spin-offs because the Persona main console games are exclusive to PlayStation, and also Shin Megami Tensei. Bandai Namco's got Tekken, Dragon Ball, and Pac-Man. Bethesda's got Doom, Fallout, and Skyrim. Capcom's got Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Dead Rising, and Mega Man. Codemasters has Dirt, Grid, and F1, so lots of racing games. EA Games, Madden, FIFA, Battlefield, Titanfall. You'd be hard-pressed to find games that they are not making, in fact. From there, we've got From Software, who does Dark Souls 2 or 3. Keep in mind that Bloodborne is exclusive to PlayStation, so there's pretty much no chance of that coming there. Frozen Byte does Trine.
Okay.
Game Trust does Song of the Deep, which is that weird sort of like
that was one
Metroidvania
published by
GameStop
GameStop, yeah.
Yep. Grasshopper Manufacturer, big fan of them. No More Heroes, Lollipop Chainsaw, and the upcoming Let It Die. Gung Ho Entertainment does Grandia, Puzzles and Dragons. Hamster, I'd never heard of these guys before. Apparently they do Zumba Fitness.
Oh, good. I'm stoked that Zumba Fitness is coming to my...
Yep.
Yeah.
Inta Creates makes Azure Striker Gunvolt and Mighty Number 9, which are both Mega Man-ish games, ironically enough. KT Games does WRC and Flat Out, neither of which I've ever played. Konami, Metal Gear Solid, sort of. Castlevania, hopefully. And Pachinko Machines. All your favorite will get ported. Level 5, Yokai Watch, Fantasy Life, Marvelous Games, Harvest Moon, Rune Factory, Maximum Games, Farming Simulator, which I don't know why that's so big, but it is. Nippon Ichi makes Disgaea, Parody Bit, another one we had to look up, Derby Stallion and Horse Simulator games, which are apparently huge in Japan. Bring them over here, because we love horses. Platinum Games does Bayonetta, Ninja Turtles, Transformers. They get a different license every few weeks, so you never know what's next with them. Sega does Sonic, Valkyrie Chronicles, and Chronicles and Yakuza. Spike Chunsoft, which sounds like a bully's name, makes One Piece, Zero Time Dilemma. Square Enix, Final Fantasy, Deus Ex, Tomb Raider, Starbreeze. They make Dead by Daylight and The Syndicate. Take-Two Entertainment, GTA, Bioshock, Mafia recently.
I mean, Take-Two is that's Rockstar, that's Gearbox, that's 2K, all under there.
Yeah, everybody's under there. Big parent company. Telltale Games, they have The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, Game of Thrones. THQ Nordic, Darksiders, which actually came to the Wii U, and Red Faction. Tokyo RPG Factory makes I Am Setsuna. TT Games makes Lego Star Wars, Lego Harry Potter, Lego everything. Ubisoft, Watch Dogs, The Division, Just Dance.
And launch titles.
And launch titles every time. Warner Brothers makes Batman and Mortal Kombat. Now, these last two rows, as you can see, are pretty much all game engine studios, studios creating netcode and online infrastructure.
Yeah.
Stuff like Unity and Epic Games and Cryware are basically how hardware runs. Companies like Dana are actually making all of Nintendo's mobile offerings. So we're actually going to probably see a lot of mobile games get ported to this thing, too.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Also worth pointing out, this does feel like an ambitious, like, oh wow, look at all these studios that they're working, all these publishers. But it's like a lot of these Nintendo has pre-existing relationships with. I mean, Platinum made a ton of Wii U titles. Sega's already kind of got stuff on there. You got, Bandai Namco bits and pieces there. And I think the really big AAA guys are, in spite of how it might backfire on them, are always kind of willing to take a chance with launch titles.
I totally agree.
So, I mean, it's not like proper confirmation yet, but the fact that we did see Skyrim running on a Nintendo console in its reveal trailer is pretty exciting. I mean, it's a 5-year-old game, but it's also an M-rated, hard RPG, so clearly they're not just...
This just happened recently, but the Hearthstone account tweeted out a picture of the gnome guy, who's like the sort of like main character in Hearthstone, peeking behind a door in the same way you saw Mario peeking behind a curtain, which means, yes, this thing is definitely getting mobile games. So if it's getting handheld games, console games, and mobile games, damn.
Yeah.
That solves the biggest problem Nintendo's ever had, which is like, what am I playing all year besides the 5 first-party exclusive games?
Yeah.
So like we said before, you'll be hard-pressed to find publishers that aren't on this thing yet. Pretty much everybody's on board. Comes out in March 2017.
That's close.
No prices yet, no pre-orders yet. How cool is it that we're getting Skyrim on a cartridge?
I'm pretty excited about that.
That's so
also,
weird.
you can play it while you're taking a dunk.
That's true. A big dunk.
Yeah.
Super cool, brand new console. That wasn't even that was 7 a.m.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of words here.
Yeah.
Next up, obviously, Red Dead Redemption 2. We got this teased out very slowly over the course of kind of the last week with little tiny Rockstar images, and then we got kind of a little tiny Rockstar trailer. This is definitely much more of kind of a sizzle teaser than we might have been expecting.
Yeah.
Less substantial than the GTA 5 reveal trailer, but still really cool nonetheless.
I think it felt sort of more like a tone piece.
Yeah, let's take a look at it right here. Damn, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like a big art dork, I guess, and this reminds me so much of like Albert Bierstadt paintings, like a little bit of Winslow Homer in there.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Just kind of the whole like
This shot particularly is very The Revenant. There's this oil rig shot that's very, what's it called? There Will Be Blood.
Yep.
It's just evocative of a lot of like the great sort of like Western or sort of Wild Plains, Wild West, just out survivalist movies that we've seen. It's also raw and gritty, and like we're seeing a great variety of sort of scenes. It's a good tone piece here.
Well, yeah, I also love that they don't need to sell the action.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the most action you get here pretty much. It's some horses riding, which is exciting. They go fast. We don't know a damn thing about the story or the characters or who's doing what, but I feel like for selling an open world game, it makes a ton of sense to be like, hey, here's the world, and it's gorgeous. So on that note, there's a lot of reasons that people play video games.
Yep.
I think you and I have kind of one in common, which is just that there's sometimes animals in them. We love the animals. They're all over the place, and it's great when you get a big open world game and you can do all kinds of stuff and there's character development and everything, but it's even cooler when there's animals running around and you can like set them on fire or chase them or whatever. So
I completely agree.
I figured we'd kind of go real careful through some shots from the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer and pick out all the different animals that we're going to be shooting with our cowboy guns.
And if for some weird reason this is your first Red Dead game, friendly reminder that you'll be able to hunt and skin almost all, if not all, of these animals, which is definitely adds a new wrinkle to things.
First of all, we got this one right here. It's a horse.
Yes.
It would be kind of weird if they didn't have horses in a sequel to a cowboy game that had a lot of horses, so that's good that they've confirmed the horses have returned. Yeah. Then, of course, there's these elks.
Yeah.
Look at these dirty boys just, milling around, eating some stuff. You're probably going to shoot them and take their little fur coats to wear on your back.
They have no idea you're even there.
Yeah.
Ready to just snipe them.
And then, of course, I like this shot a lot. You got some cows, I guess, pigs or something. I don't know, in the back there. But if you look very carefully in this shot, it's not moving here, but there's rats running around in the grass, which is such a wonderful detail.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get really hungry out on the plains and you want some rat jerky.
Yeah, I've been playing Tomb Raider and I kind of hit one of those points where like I think I died twice and I just kind of reached that like F it stage like before going to bed where I'm just like, I'm going to shoot squirrels with my shotgun.
Yep.
And then I'm like, Lara Croft is an awful woman. Who would do that? Anyway, this little foxy boy who's chasing some kind of rodent, I think. He's just, pouncing about in that grass. I think it's a fox. It could be like a skunk or maybe a wolverine. Who knows? And then there's lots of different birds, a bunch of them in there. You look at them all there. Also, there's water, so I'm guessing probably fishes. Who knows? All sorts of animals live in nature. And then there's this... it's a deer on the back of a horse, so it's sort of like a Bremen Town musician kind of situation.
Yeah, if one of the musicians was dead.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. The man could climb on there, and then you've got some kind of like mythical beast. Anyway.
I do like the idea of
nice
like
robin out there on that
your
fence.
horse being a real life dead carcass inventory where you could just stack all of your hunts.
I hope you just get to stack up just a pile of old meat on there.
Yeah, just a pyramid of hell.
Then look at all these different boys. This took a while to put all those circles on this image. Look at all those guys, a whole bunch of them. Watch out for that train, fellas, or you'll go extinct.
What are these guys?
I don't know, buffalo? Or bisons or something. I don't really care. I'm going to shoot them. And then I just got lazy, and there's cows. Lots of cows. All these different cows are rendered all on the screen using the engine of the game. And there's that horse again. If you look very carefully in the foreground, there's that horse. Also, he's been going to the bathroom in that barn.
I'm very excited for all the different types of horses in this.
And then finally, I really like this shot a lot.
This is great. I tweeted this one out, and I called them turkeys. Oh, Greedo, great. So we've got a dirty dog. They're not turkeys. Apparently, they're turkey vultures. Agree to disagree. That has turkey in the name.
Yeah, I think they're buzzard hawks, but I could be wrong too. Look at how filthy that dog is.
Dude, look at this whole town. Like, what happened here? This is before like a lot of drugs were invented, right? I mean, drinking. Really?
Yeah, I think they mostly just had lead poisoning and polio and rickets and all this stuff.
Yeah, so now
syphilis,
we have dog versus
night blindness,
turkey vulture,
hay fever,
and horses coming up front row.
Seasonal poisoning, moon sickness, all kinds of different stuff. Yeah, but I like I really hope that you get a dog in this one.
Yeah.
They kind of had Franklin running around with Chop in GTA 5, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, a dog!" But it wouldn't surprise me that much if you just had a cool dog who could go out on the range with you and maybe help you fight off wolves.
I totally agree.
So there are some animals from Red Dead Redemption. What kind of animals would you like to see? Let us know, please.
Yeah, just tweet random animals at us.
Just write animals on anything on the internet. Just put them out there. Just
use the hashtag up at noon and just let us know. Just name some animals. That's really it's the easiest thing in the world. It's like being on SNL Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Just write down any animal.
So anyway, open world games seem to kind of be like the sort of just the thing this generation because the hardware can actually support them. And Zelda's going full blown open world with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Which we saw new footage of with the Switch trailer this morning.
A little bit, yeah. It was kind of hidden in there. Here's the E3 trailer we got this year, which is really stunning in itself. I love what this is doing. I love this kind of just pastel look.
Yep.
I've never been a fan of Zelda when it's like too dark.
I agree.
Like I kind of love, like I grew up with, Link to the Past. That's always been my favorite, and it's like very colorful, very kind of like fairy tale like, and I feel like even, as early as like Ocarina, they're kind of like, let's make it a little bit grittier. And I'm just like, I don't really want that. I kind of want pastels and, pretty nice things.
I totally agree. I've always appreciated that sort of childlike wonder that you get in a Zelda game. And if I want like a gritty, violent, mature game, I'll play something like Skyrim or even The Witcher. But that being said, Breath of the Wild looks awesome. We saw some new footage of it today. And this was really one of the prettiest games. This won E3 for IGN's Game of E3 award last year. That said,
yeah, Red Dead is like, I think it's kind of funny because this is a much grittier thing that's actually showcasing even less action. They're like, oh, look at these pretty fields and this lovely bloom lighting. It's so pretty. What do you think these are? I mean, they're obviously incredibly different games.
Of course, but they are open world adventure games where a man rides a horse and hunts and gathers items and species to make his arsenal better. This is a stunning video game. This might be the best looking video game I've ever seen. We all wondered what Rockstar games would look like when built from the ground up on current gen consoles instead of being ported over like GTA 5 was, and wonder no more. Like, these guys are killing it with the lighting, the mood, the atmosphere. I will obviously play both of these games, but putting them back to back next to each other, obviously one is more cartoony and one is more realistic, really puts it in perspective how much of a sort of generational leap and visual leap it's going to feel like to play both of these games in the same year, assuming that both of them can actually commit to the release dates they promised so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Which is, if you have to just gun to your head, which do you go with?
I mean, obviously Zelda, because I'm an old school Zelda guy. I've got Zelda toys in front of me. I grew up with Zelda, but man.
How much did they pay you to wear that hat, you shill?
What's in the gun,
Yeah.
How many bullets? Can I Russian roulette it?
Yeah.
What about you?
I love Zelda. I'm gonna go with Red Dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something kind of so like, it's not Link again. It's like I love Nintendo for what they do. I grew up with them, but at the same time, like I kind of want to play a game that's really just like going further.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like a totally new direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Either way, we're getting both. It seems silly to make them compete.
Yeah.
But that's what we do here. We start fights.
Arbitrary fights between two entirely different things. Next up, apples versus oranges. Which is cooler? Neither. They're both fruit, and fruit sucks.
Max, that wasn't even enough for today. There was another big thing that happened today. I don't know what we did to deserve this, but here we are. Brand new Logan trailer hit today after the teaser yesterday, which I despised because it was just like, show the thing.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot. Let's take a look at it right here. This is, I think this is the best looking, best shot X-Men movie we've seen so far.
Absolutely.
But like, let's pretend we don't know it's an X-Men movie.
Which I think most people would do if they saw this trailer and didn't know, right?
Yeah, which is sort of something I'm hesitating about, because like I want to like this, I want to be excited about this, and I think this is what Wolverine Origins should have been.
Yeah.
This is what it should have looked like. It should have been very much like, oh, it's who's this gritty dude, but it's like this is allegedly Hugh Jackman's last time with the claws on. They're doing kind of an Old Man Logan thing, but if you've read the Old Man Logan comics, those require a lot of kind of Marvel characters to be in there. What we know about this is probably that's X-23. She doesn't really look like the badass that she is in the comics.
Yep.
You got Professor X,
obviously.
looking real haggard.
I want to double down on what you're saying. Like the cinematography, the way this is shot is probably the most stunning thing that they've done in the X-Men franchise.
It doesn't look like a superhero
We've got the
movie.
lead from Narcos, I believe, playing the villain.
Yeah, so these guys are the Reavers.
Yeah.
And if you've read the kind of old 80s, 90s X-Men comics, they are a group of angry cyborgs who live in the Australian outback and decide that they want to hunt mutants. I think Lady Deathstrike was actually at one point part of them. But it's kind of unclear what they're going to be doing, if they're going to be chasing after Wolverine. Apparently there's a lot less mutants in this future, but we do know that, like, you got Professor X, you got Caliban, there's rumors of Mr. Sinister floating around. It looks like Children of Men with claws, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of also just pretty unabashedly like, touching on some, look at that little cool claw there.
I noticed Neil Druckmann even tweeted out the trailer saying it was giving him serious Last of Us vibes, which is a game entirely hinged on the source material of The Road, if you think about it. So obviously, no idea is original and everything's derivative. And look, you and I have been pretty outspoken about how we're not entirely crazy about the X-Men movie franchise. I feel like this, even if it's a final step, is a great step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean,
this is kind of what I always said I wanted. You know, it's just like, just give me Wolverine, just kind of like in pain, lost in the woods.
I'm just so wary of it after the last few because I just wasn't crazy about them. Also, I don't like this. I don't like this version of X-23. She seems very 11 from Stranger Things, as opposed to like, oh, here's a girl with claws in her feet. Anyway, moving on. Battlefield 1 is out tomorrow or today or this week or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know what day it is.
It's out right now.
We've been playing bits of it. I was streaming some of that on Tuesday. I'm doing more of that tomorrow. There's a mode in there that involves one of my favorite things, as we mentioned earlier in the show, animals. Let's take a look at this weird nonsense.
So Max, tell me about this wonderful pigeon mode in Battlefield.
So back in the days of World War I and horses and lore and yonder whatnot, basically, they didn't really have great radio communications. So, yeah, sorry about that. So they had to use pigeons to send messages, and so there's a mode in Battlefield 1 called War Pigeons, in which you... What the hell is that man doing? You have to capture pigeons and then release them to send an artillery strike. So basically, it's capture the flag if you're using the flag to send a message to call in an airstrike.
Oh, okay. So the pigeons are basically texting in this game.
Exactly. The pigeons are like emails that you're writing. See that little pencil logo there?
Yeah.
That's my friend, and he's actually writing. He's writing a message.
Now, is this mode sort of like historically accurate?
No. Not really. I mean, it's a video game.
Yeah.
It's horse apples, but like, it's fun, and it's kind of funny. Like, look at this dude's about to finish his nice letter.
Yeah.
I love that they're straight up using a pencil. Like, it's not like, oh, we have to use, like, Morse code coordinates.
He doesn't even have like a nice quill or anything like that?
No, he's like writing, it's like, it looks like you're writing a request for an artillery strike.
It's really interesting to think about like just texting birds flying all over this level right now.
Also,
I really like
look
that.
at what they did to my cool cottage.
Wow, so the destructible environments in this game are a thing.
Oh, it's insane, yeah.
That's awesome. You've been
I'm
playing
like,
a lot of this game, right?
Dude, yeah, I'm like kind of in love with it, and I don't know how that happened because I'm like, I don't like military multiplayer shooters.
Uh-huh.
Where's that bird at? I need that bird.
Pigeon located.
Check this out. I got this insane person bayonet rush I can do.
Wow.
No, I don't want that. I want this. Stop, not that. Wait, sorry, hold on. So if you...
Oh my god. That is very intense.
Yeah, and if you run into a dude like that, you'll just gore him, and it's pretty gnarly.
God, that's really cool.
But I'm a little bit tired from doing that. I can't sprint for a second.
So you have stamina and stuff too.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, you're pretty good at this game.
Yeah, I don't know when that happened or how that happened.
You're not like historically a first-person shooter online multiplayer guy, right?
You can be straight up. I historically kind of suck ass at video games.
That's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just got some practice in. I've been playing the alpha and the beta, and we did some live streams of it and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, where's that pigeon? Give me that bird. I want to see it. I want to go look at it.
So this is definitely probably one of the most ridiculous first-person shooter modes of the year. If you think about, like, this is based on sort of real war in real life, but you're chasing birds the whole time.
Oh, crap in a hat.
Death animations are cool too.
Yeah,
Like
also, I love that trees are just falling over.
Yeah.
I mean, if we see 20% of what's going on in Battlefield 1 in Star Wars Battlefront 2, I will be very happy.
Yeah.
So
this is the pigeon aerial view that they gave you there?
That's just what the multiplayer, like, what's nuts is you'll see like mortars and stuff going off, like you'll see tanks. It's just like really neat. Kind of tell what everyone's doing.
All right.
Yeah. So I really want to see what that man's doing. Like, apparently you can actually see the dude like with a pencil in his hand.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
If you get there fast enough, you see him just sort of scribbling away. Did you get him? Oh, no, there he is. Oh!
Nice.
Get him. He's right down there. He's writing.
Well, that's my friend, yeah.
I want to see him.
Where are you, buddy? Is he writing that pencil? Has he got a little pencil in his hand?
No, he's a liar.
No, he's the pigeons in the little baskets. Ah! Damn it.
Oh, wow. Do you see your leg? The way that ragdolled? I saw some pigeon feathers flying around.
Yeah.
I think it's what
This
that's
is
how
great.
you track him. Yeah, so there's just like it's like a dude running around with a bird in his pocket. It's like I don't know, it's silly. Apparently in the single player you can actually play as the pigeon for a second.
Wow.
Which is completely insane.
Yeah,
that's like-
I never would have guessed that one of the most interesting characters of 2016 is in the video game is the war pigeon.
Yeah, right? Man,
Thank God that pigeon got home safe.
it's shooting me. I don't like this, man. Look at me. I'm in Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.
Well, this is War Pigeons. It's
Yeah.
on Battlefield 1, which is out right now on PS4, Xbox, and PC. Max is pretty good at it, getting better and better by the day.
Look at that. I got a whole can of cold brewskis on my back. I'm going to chuck those at a tank.
What animals do you want to see in video games? Probably more birds.
Yeah, I think birds are the next big thing.
Absolutely.
Keep it locked.
Thanks for watching.
Computer games.
Keep it squawked.
Video games are cool.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Aloha and welcome back to the show. Hello, everybody. It's Callie Plaguey. She's the Pokemon expert.
Hi, Callie.
It's me.
We just played a fun little mission about catching pigeons. Battlefield. Pokemon is kind of the original catching those animals, and there's a new one on the horizon.
There is.
Sun and Moon.
Horizon.
So let's run through the story real quick here. A demo was released on 3DS for Pokemon Sun and Moon, which within minutes, hackers basically ripped, downloaded, and exploited and pulled every part out of.
Right, so there were a lot of sprites in the demo that weren't actually used. So they found a lot of shiny versions, a lot of versions the Pokemon that aren't announced and aren't supposed to be revealed.
This
yet.
is kind of a regular thing that seems to happen with new Pokemon games. We've had like some of these sort of leak in screenshot form or whatever. I figure we should run through some of these so-called Alola Pokemon, which is sort of the Hawaii of Pokemon.
Yes.
Some of these are just out of control. They're just real bad, and I think we need to address them. I'm sorry, but we have to talk about it. What's going on here?
I
what is
hate this fish.
Why does this exotic cake of the sea have fangs?
I hate everything about this fish. This is Bruxish, and it's stupid and boring, and it has really big lips, and I don't know why it exists, because there's plenty of fish Pokemon. There's so many fish that you could use. You could have...
Yeah.
I think this is what happens when you throw a lava lamp in a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look at its eyelashes. I hate it so much.
It's really like I know that like we love the Pokemon. We love them
Yes.
as a concept, but some of them are indubitably just inferior to others.
Yes.
And this one, so I'm going to look at the kind of the etymology here. Brux is like Bruja, like it's kind of a witch, and then Bruxish is like a witch fish.
A witch fish.
So it's a witch fish.
See, this is not what I would picture when I would picture a witch fish.
You'd picture something much less awful or much more awful.
Something way cooler.
All right, so Bruxish, get out of here. Next up, we've got Gumshoes.
Oh yeah.
This is the Bidoof of this generation. I also hate this one because he looks like he's about to give you a lecture, but not know what he's talking about.
So I'm kind of perplexed here. The obvious direction. We don't like to get too political, but this Pokemon does look like Donald Trump.
It looks like Donald Trump.
It's got his hair, but then it's Gumshoes, so it's like a detective Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure
What's going on with that?
He's trying to find those emails.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but there's always like a normal type rodent Pokemon with every generation, and they just made it more detestable.
It's sad though, because like Pikachu's a rodent type Pokemon, right? And if you look at like their family tree, if this guy's even in the same realm, that sucks. Like he got bad genes.
Yeah, he didn't.
I mean, it's funny because if you go to Hawaii in real life, they got like weasels there, I think, that run around. They got all kinds of funny animals you don't quite understand because they're an island and it's different there.
Yes.
On that note, we do have some insight here. There's Litten.
So this is one of the leaked sprites.
Get those lower thirds out of here. I can't read.
So the story behind this is there was a leak a while back earlier this year of concept art, and this basically seemingly confirms it if this is indeed what the sprite is. And I'm so mad because fire-type Pokemon can't stay on the ground. I'm so mad.
Wow. So are Pokemon evolutions just like steroid what-ifs now?
Well, so
they've gotten very humanoid, which I'm not crazy about.
Game Freak has this obsession with firefighting Pokemon, and all the fire-type starters start on 4 legs.
You mean like FDNY or like like firefighters? Or
No,
like,
fire/fighting.
Oh,
okay.
got
types.
it.
I was like,
they're
oh.
dual type Pokemon. Sorry,
Like
that's
Backdraft, the
in
Pokemon.
Any other conversation that would be a really firefighting Pokemon. No, these are fire/fighting.
So I'm not wild
yeah.
about this one here because like frequently with seeing the kind of the starter evolutions, they're all cuties, they're all great.
I know.
And then the second stage ones are frequently like most human adolescents, just awful. But then you get to the adult versions and it's like sometimes the ugly ones kind of fill out and sometimes the beautiful ones turn awful. In this case, I think it's the latter.
This is like one of those BuzzFeed slideshows of like where are they now for child actors.
Yeah, it's the reverse of like beware who you make fun of in middle school.
This is definitely like an Aaron Carter type evolution. Like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing is too muscular and I'm scared of it. So.
Or Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, and then we got some other ones here. We got obviously
What?
the special Alolan kind of different versions of familiar Pokemon.
Right. So not all Generation 1 Pokemon, but all of the Alolan forms, they're like alternate forms of Pokemon, existing Pokemon, are from Generation 1, which I found really interesting. But Persians look sort of like gray Garfield, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like this one bit. This looks like it's not even Garfield. It looks like an evil Nermal from. Yeah, it's just real.
like-
Also, like, what are they doing on that island? Like, Persian's like this beautiful, like it's just like a regular cat.
I know.
But this one's got this like messed up like fat head and it's
Yeah.
like kind of stout and like is it just eating like tourist scraps
No,
or something?
it's like it got stung by a bee inside its mouth.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Vacation is supposed to make you happier.
Yeah, I don't like this. It
I
looks
don't know
like
what
it's got
happened here.
very bad sicknesses.
I mean-
like if you leave a goldfish in a closet, they apparently turn white.
Oh,
I don't know if
God.
it's looked like they did that to it.
It might happen to Persian cats too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally we've got this one, which is just really just shut it down.
Yeah.
Get it out of here.
It looks like Beyonce and Nicki Minaj and like maybe Taylor Swift hanging
Yeah,
out.
this is Destiny Child over here.
Yeah, it is Destiny's Child.
It
Like,
sucks because the Doug Trio has always been, as a bald man, a Pokemon that I can totally relate to. And the fact that they've turned around and grown hair, blonde at that, is really sickening to me.
Did they just whitewash a bunch of like moles coming out of the ground?
Possible.
Whatever
I'm not-
those things are.
I'm not sure. So a lot of the Alolan form Pokemon seem to be based on Hawaiian something. Like the Geodude line also has a leaked Alolan form in it. They look like volcanic rock, which I think is pretty
that's
cool.
clever, yeah.
That's cool. But I'm not really sure what the point was here. Like I was thinking, oh, maybe Hula Dancer Jinx would be cool, if not a little weird.
I think that'd be too upsetting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but
This one just seems
this
kind
is
of like
just blondes.
like Doug Trio is not exactly the most inspired design to begin with, and the fact that they're like, let's kick it up a notch by giving it wigs. Kind of stupid.
Very gross. Callie, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
Speaking
anytime.
of it upsetting, the one way to get revenge on Pokemon is to have them beat themselves up. So, because we can, here's 60 seconds of Pikachu slapping himself. Hit it! Thank you so much for watching. We actually cut a 45-minute version of that. Roll it! No, I'm kidding. We would never do that to you. That's horrible. No, stop!
Get it out of there. This is supposed to be safe for work. Okay.
Poor Pikachu.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get back to Battlefield.
Yeah.
Because it's...
Enough Pokemon. Let's talk about the aggro military shooters.
the girl's gone. We can talk about the guy games, like when you shoot and then there's a horse. No.
Sometimes there's a jump in. Yeah, so Battlefield has kind of had like a spotty track record the past few games. I mean, I think like once they kind of hit the ground and kind of even things out, they're usually pretty good. But like I think since 3, there've sort of been some rough launches. Like 3 had some, it was trying to match Call of Duty's release window.
Yep.
Battlefield 4 was on new hardware, and it was kind of like the servers were just a mess at launch. Hardline kind of rubbed people the wrong way, I guess. Battlefield 1 seems like it's kind of the most out of left field because it is World War I. So people have been like, what are we looking at here? What are we getting?
Yeah.
So far, the reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. Ours, I don't know if we have a final score up yet, but Chloe Rad's been reviewing it. She's been very positive about it. We're basically trying to be very cautious and not put a final score on things until we've got a chance to really see what it's like out in the wild and test the servers.
Play multiplayer and all that stuff.
But yeah, I wanted to pull a few kind of sound bites from Metacritic, which is, of course, kind of encompassing all sorts of different reviewers out there. So starting with ours, it's the exhilarating multiplayer that most strongly capitalizes on the potential of this old-school arsenal, bringing a number of subtle changes that keep the combat balanced and smart while still allowing for the hallmark chaos that makes Battlefield such a fantastic first-person shooter series. If we had to score it now, 9 out of 10. So, I mean, it might be higher, might be lower, but that's a pretty good initial score to give it. On that note, GameSpot just kind of pulled the trigger, 9 out of 10. So, splendidly interprets the early 20th century as a world in which technological transition will humanizing the war's participant through well-crafted, albeit fictional, narrative vignettes. Combined with the enthralling multiplayer component, the overall result is the studio's best work since Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, good news.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, people were kind of like, I think a lot of this is based around single player and kind of like sort of cautious multiplayer. It's mostly multiplayer that people care about, but
and you played something like 6 hours of multiplayer yesterday, right, or the day before?
Yeah, I've been doing like live streams and stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm into it, you know?
Yep.
EGM gave it an 8 out of 10. Battlefield 1 does a service to the series' core fan base with a unique yet strangely familiar take on World War I. Yeah, again, it's a weird war to be messing with. You get capture the pigeon and horseback sword fights, so it's kind of a far cry from, I don't know, it's sniper scopes and NVGs, but there we go. Game Revolution, 9 out of 10. This is the lowest review score I could find currently. Attack of the Fanboy gave it a 7 out of 10, which is still fine. If you go through the different Metacritic categories for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, I think they are all predominantly positive. So you're looking at entirely green 8s and 9s. This is the one outlier that's still a 7 out of 10, which is fine.
Yeah, which is a
that's
really good score.
So this is like, I mean, it's release week, and it's reviewing really well. People really like it. So, you know, if you're on the fence about this, it seems like this is sort of a safe bet. And yeah, I'm like really into it myself, and I don't like shooters normally, so go figure.
I think we'll probably check in soon on how this is ranking versus Call of Duty. Obviously, if you've got $60 to spend on one shooter this year, you want to pick the one that's right for you. One of them is World War I and has archaic weapons and a heartfelt story, and the other one's in space and lets you turn into a robot dog and kill your friends. So that's up to you. But if you were looking on saving $60 this fall by avoiding this game and hoping it was bad, sucks for you, man, because it looks like it's awesome. So that's really cool.
Yeah. We talk a lot about Star Wars on this show.
We do. It's actually been 43 minutes and we haven't yet, so that's a
weird.
problem.
We've got problems. Not as many problems, though, as Harrison Ford did on the set of The Force Awakens, in which the Millennium Falcon's door shut on his leg and broke it. And then they proceeded to have to kind of pump the brakes on shooting. That was also, I think, the same movie shoot where he crashed a plane on a golf course at one point.
Yeah, it was around the same year.
Yeah. So
rough
anyway,
year.
His leg breaking was like one of those things where you're like, on a scale of like Disney money and Star Wars money and Harrison Ford salary money, what's the equivalent of getting like workman's comp because you messed up on the job there? You know?
Yeah.
They had a giant animatronic door shut on this, you know, national treasure's leg, breaking it. I read somewhere that it was described as the equivalent of a blunt guillotine.
Oh.
Anyway, they, I guess, took it to court, and the settlement came out to being about $2 million for, I guess, damages, which seems kind of light. You know, it seems kind of like not a lot. I think it was 1.8 million pounds or something to that effect. But yeah, they took it to court and they worked it out. We kind of, unbeknownst to us, witnessed a very odd piece of memorabilia. We went to visit Rancho Obi-Wan, which is the home of the world's biggest Star Wars kind of memorabilia collection. That's up in Petaluma, California. They have under glass Harrison Ford's cast.
That's it.
like celebrity medical waste.
Yeah, that's the $2 million lawsuit cast
And
right there.
That's signed by all kinds of important people, and it's got fun drawings on it. And actually, you can't see it in this photo, but above that, there was a custom action figure made of Han Solo in a leg cast. That was all carded, and it was had like a funny Photoshop on it and everything.
And this is really before we saw what he even looked like in this film. So it's really interesting.
Yeah,
I want to point out real quick that there were rumors going around that Harrison Ford made upwards of $25 million to be in Episode 7, a movie where he was stabbed by his son on a bridge. So you can add 2 more on top of that for this bum leg that he's got to carry forever
That's
now.
a nice tip.
Yeah.
I mean, so if he got like $2 million for having his leg broken, how much is this cast worth? Like this is gonna wind up in like a Planet Hollywood in like Reno, if they still have do they still have those Planet Hollywoods?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, well it's gonna wind up in a real crappy one because it's kind of gross. Bet that thing smells like old cheeses. Anyway, we've got another Star Wars movie on the horizon that hasn't broken anyone's legs that we know of. Rogue One is just around the corner, a couple months away. We've been getting, we got our like first look at that new trailer. There've been like those Topps trading cards that have been getting trickled out. Our big thing, obviously, is we like weird background characters in Star Wars. We like to read those bad novels with the short stories in them. We like to read the Force Fact files that come with action figures in 2003. What year is it? I forgot. I turned 30 next year. I should grow out of this. In any case, we got some cool looks at some new guys, such as these funny goth Mon Calamari.
Yeah, so Max, you and I are the weird dudes that buy action figures and toys and dolls and shirts and everything else based on obscure puppets that are seen for half a frame in the back of a bar scene
Love those
from
puppets.
a movie 30 years ago. It looks like Rogue One's going to deliver on more of that, which you and I both kind of walked away from Episode 7 being like, man, I wish there was more stuff like that. Rogue One's got him. So Mon Calamari, we've actually seen this species before in almost every Star Wars movie, but what happened here?
So my theory, we've seen the Mon Calamari. It's Admiral Akbar, obviously. He's all red. All the guys we've seen so far have been just kind of this lovely sort of burnt umber color. These guys are just weird, like Dungeness crab color. Like they're just these funky, clammy looking guys.
Yep.
Maybe they're cold. Maybe they're cold, and that's why they're that color. Maybe they have to go to a hot environment to get nice and red.
That's possible.
I think that's what it is. I think that they're cold Mon Calamaris.
Like snow calamaris? I like that a lot.
Yeah, or just frozen. I like it like a fresh better, but maybe at some point they capture all of the Akbars and they just boil them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's very cold, very hot. Anyway, we're dumb.
Yeah.
This is a costume that got revealed at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, we got to see this in person.
So this, the one on the left is Adrio Two Tubes.
Or Eddie Two Tubes, as we're calling him.
Damn it. And Adrio has a twin. I don't know what his brother's name is. Like
Tony
Russell,
Two Tubes.
Probably, yeah, Tony
Eddie
Two
and
Tubes.
Tony Two
There we
Tubes.
go. But yeah, they're basically Saw Gerrera's buddies. They're kind of mercenaries who hang out with him. And
Yeah, these guys are these are new bounty hunters, basically.
Yeah, they kind of look like if Zuckuss and Forlom had a baby.
Oh, that is such a horrifying visual.
Really, they're pretty nightmarish.
I love their guns though.
Why do you think they call them Two Tubes?
Because they got those 2 tubes coming out.
You know
of the
what?
side
I'll
of their
be
heads.
honest. That's not why. But we can't talk about why on this
Ooh,
family-friendly
they got
show. Talk about wieners.
Dunguses.
Anyway, look at these funny mummies.
Oh man.
Yeah, they look like the Pokemon Go mascot.
These slug boys.
Yeah.
So Jeddah
They will soon become monarch butterflies and fly away.
Jeddah is a planet that they visit in Rogue One. You probably saw in the newest trailer, there's this beautiful top-down shot of this gigantic shattered Jedi statue with a broken lightsaber and everything. This is sort of the fallen land of where Jedis used to live and survive and thrive, and it's gone now, if you've seen A New Hope. Jedis are basically non-existent aside from Obi-Wan hiding in a cave somewhere.
Yeah, and Yoda kissing his snake in that old tree.
Yeah, it's doing weird stuff.
Making soup that smells like farts.
So we don't know if these guys are people who made pilgrimages to Jeddah or they've been there all along, but either way, I'm really interested to find out more about them. This should be a kind of a really cool toy, easy Halloween costume if you have a nice particle blanket you want to paint. Probably a very bad action figure because it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of articulation outside of their heads. Everything else just looks like a big hot dog.
I hope you take off those little cloaks and they're just super ripped. They're just like weird dudes in like sarongs and just with big muscle chests.
Yeah,
they probably won't be.
Fun idea for the craft service table at the Rogue One premiere party. Make burritos with these guys in them.
Ah, yeah, Jedha burritos. I like it. And this, speaking of funny robes,
I tweeted this one out the other day. This is a new character. He's another background guy. To me, he looks exactly like the Wanderer from Journey. He's even got the cool like long cloak and the square head and the sort of tapestry pieces that hang off of him.
Is it like MS Paint Journey fan art?
No, that's the character.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's a pretty low-res game. It's been a while since you played it, huh?
I guess, yeah.
So what I really like is this, like the funny scissors this guy has, like this prong
Funny
thing.
scissors,
I don't know
yes.
if that's a guitar.
Yeah, that's like one of those African thumb pianos, but it's on a stick, so you can just like,
Yeah.
you know, you're like, all right, this one's out to the crowd. You hold it out there. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, so anyway, I like all these weird dudes. I love the Star Wars background characters. I want Rogue One to just be jam-packed with these guys, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that note, December 16th, that's coming up not soon enough, but I'm so stoked to go and just get real tanked and cheer for these weird mummies.
How many times are you going to see this movie in theaters?
I saw Force Awakens 3 times,
Yeah, me
and
too.
I was in Vietnam for 2 weeks after it came out, so probably 5.
You think so?
I think I might do 5. If it is as full of weirdos and mummies as I'm hoping it is.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm probably going to do 3 or 4 times. I hope to see it opening night with you again, so we can share that amazing moment where something powerful happens.
Yeah, and I reach over and put my hand on his hand, and our wives look at each other and go, "What are they doing?"
And we start
it's
crying.
It's a Star Wars thing. We were weeping like adult babies.
Yeah,
so.
and our significant others were basically laughing at us. So that's good.
They were installing Tinder on their phones. Anyway,
obviously, we talked about the Nintendo Switch a little bit at the top of the show, and we got all of our really good stuff out of the way. But I do really want to kind of like have a conversation with you a little bit more about just how this thing's going to work. We don't necessarily know a lot of things, and I think one of the big things that we're concerned about right off the bat is battery life. We heard rumors about this thing at E3 from publishers, and we published some of those, and others we sort of like kept under wraps. Battery life for this thing is going to be a big make it or break it situation. My guess is that the battery life for the Nintendo Switch, when you take it on the road, will be roughly around 3 hours.
yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't know. Battery technology's come a long way.
Yeah.
Like my fiance got some wireless headphones, earbuds, whatever, and I was like, "What's the battery on those?" She's like 5 hours, and I'm like, "They're the size of pills.
Yeah.
You could eat those batteries and then go to the hospital."
Yeah.
But like this thing is, you know, it's like yay big. Like you've got an iPhone 7. That thing has a lot of battery
the 7
power in
Plus, I had him charge it in a day and a half,
so
and it was at like 20%
you know,
this
imagine the
morning.
thing is like twice that size.
Yep.
It's going to be obviously kind of a big part of the price, the battery life.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be weird ass peripherals that people plug into it, like get your Mad Catz battery booster or whatever.
Oh, for sure. And also, like, if you're a hardcore Nintendo fan and you spent the summer playing Pokemon Go, you probably have an external charger right now. I hope those work with it. I have
That's
a really
going to be
good
a big
one.
question: is will this charge via standard USB or some wacky proprietary cable? Because that's a big deciding thing there. Even in the trailer we got, there's a clip of them sliding it into a seat back mounted like car holder, basically, like one of those weird like rich kid minivan backseat things. I feel like if that's something they're showing off, like maybe they have faith that it's going to have a proper battery. I feel like 3 hours is kind of insanity.
Yeah. So now, like, one of the other big questions I had about it is whether or not it has a touchscreen. We actually haven't seen any humans or people interacting with this thing as a touchscreen so far yet. We assume it is because the Wii U had one, the 3DS has had one, the 2DS has one,
honestly,
the DS has had one.
I think that the touchscreen aspect is just sort of like old hat at this point. Like we kind of it's almost a given that it's a touchscreen. But also
You
we're
would
pointing
think
out
so.
all of the video footage we see here is simulated.
Yeah.
Like this isn't the actual game in action. There's no HUD. There's nothing like that. This is a sizzle reel.
Yeah.
And I think that having touchscreen stuff on there I think they might have just intentionally left it out just because it's one more thing to worry about making it look realistic.
For sure. My thing is that Nintendo's always made touchscreens, but they haven't made a multi-touch screen yet. And that sucks because that's what people expect in this day and age. A multi-touch screen, what a great thing it does is it immediately sort of eliminates the use of a stylus. People had to use a stylus on the DS and the Wii U because that touchscreen, like you actually had to push down on it. It was almost like a giant button. It didn't just like track your fingertips like that. So a multi-touch screen is going to help a lot. I think it'll be cool for stuff like switching items in Zelda or making up for the fact that if you look at this on a surface level, it actually doesn't have a ton of inputs. There aren't really as many buttons as maybe you'd hope for some things.
You'd probably have to buy like an extra clip that has more buttons on it.
Yeah, I also think that Nintendo's made a lot of really awesome touchscreen games over the years. WarioWare specifically is one of my favorite ones. So I'd like to see them port all that stuff over. Speaking of porting, like I said earlier, giant digital library of games. I've now bought my NES games on Wii U, on Wii, and on 3DS. So if I have to pay $1 or whatever it is to port them over again, that sucks, but I'll do it. But what I don't want is to have to rebuy something like Mario Kart 8 or Donkey Kong Country Returns, Super Smash Brothers, games that I put like 100 hours into and spent $60 on. Like, I want those things ported over, like full sale, so I can have them on day one.
I'd be pretty stoked if Nintendo jumped on the whole kind of like PlayStation Plus games with gold bandwagon, and maybe they were like, hey, it's, you know, sign up for the IG or the Nintendo Digital Library Service or whatever. Get your Mario library card, and you get access to old games. Maybe some of them are discounted. Maybe it's just like, hey, these 3 are free this month as long as you keep paying this fee.
Yep. I'm also concerned with the sort of the comfort of the Joy controllers or Joy-Con controllers, whatever they're officially calling them. We've seen them split off from the sides and work as sort of like NES controllers, but also since they have their own joysticks, asymmetrical for the first time in a very long time in a Nintendo console.
That's since GameCube?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's cool to see that you'll be able to use these things as their own controllers, but like that looks kind of tight. You know, like holding that sideways with your thumbs basically half an inch away from each other. Also, no truly dedicated D-pad. Kind of bummed out about that because Nintendo controllers have always just completely shown when it comes to D-pads that they do it better than anybody else. They invented it.
Don't they have a patent on the original like proper cross D-pad?
Yep, exactly.
Well, that's kind of weird.
As you can see, the plus and minus buttons up there to remove the start and select buttons. Same thing we saw on the Wii U with the plus and minus circle buttons on the motion controllers. But just like I said, you know, I think kids will get into this, but adult men and women with big hands, just big, large lady hands, you're going to want something a little meatier. Now, obviously, you've got lots of control options, so we'll see. And I don't know if this thing in the middle is actually charging these things on the left and right, which adds a whole new depth here. You see battery lights on it, so that's a possibility.
You're going to have a plug that goes into the center part that goes to both of them.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I really cannot wait to get my hands on this because for the first time in quite some time, this is a nice compromise between Nintendo being very weird and Nintendo kind of going with the flow.
Yeah.
Like they're making something that's not entirely difficult to make any third-party stuff for.
Yep.
I mean, like they were putting like, you know, Batman Arkham and you know, Deus Ex, the first one, Human Revolution on a second screen, and it's like, that's a second screen that you have to QA test and develop for, and it's like, of course they don't have third-party support.
So it's coming March 2017, the Nintendo Switch. We're going to get very used to saying that name over and over, in the same way where we did with the Wii, where we're like, we got to say this for 5 years now.
Yeah, I like that it's actually a word, you know? Switch is kind of nice, so.
I totally agree. So that's the Nintendo Switch. It's coming soon. We're all excited for it. It's going to be super weird to play cartridge games again, but if you've been playing handheld games forever on your Vita or your 3DS or your 2DS or DS or whatever, you're used to it by now. One thing that I'll never get used to is Hollywood taking things I love and running them into the ground. It's actually kind of a nightmare. One of my favorite things in the world is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
The Charlie Factory?
The Charlie Factory. The factory that makes Charlies. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, just great. It's a Roald Dahl, just one of classic books, one of the things I love more than anything in the world. I grew up watching that movie extensively. Max, you and I watched it recently together. Warner Brothers announced in its just plummet through anything they have left that they want to make prequels to Willy Wonka. Which means that they're going to get into the fact that Willy Wonka, who was a chocolate-deprived child, I imagine or assume, grew up and somehow inherited this chocolate factory or earned it, helped the Oompa Loompas fight off the Vernicious Knifts and all those things. And now all of a sudden, we're taking the mystery of something that we have always appreciated and we're battering that away and just giving all of the reality of what it could be. It didn't work for Star Wars. It didn't work for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It doesn't work for things. Sometimes it's nice to just know that a thing exists without having to know everything that came before it. I don't need to see Willy Wonka as a child.
It's an answer to a question that no one asked.
Exactly.
There's also a Willy Wonka sequel. There's the Great Glass Elevator. Why not do that?
Yeah, like Roald Dahl actually wrote that book. That's canon.
Make another Roald Dahl movie. Make the Twits.
There's a remake of Willy Wonka, which I hated because it took one of my favorite franchises and paired it with one of my favorite directors and somehow screwed it all up in this like just awful, saccharine, nonsensical music video of trash. Just the worst. So stop touching stuff that's great. Let it be. It's okay. Make something new. Make a sequel. Make something that takes 50 years down the line. Return to Oz or whatever you want to do. I don't need to see my favorite characters as children. It doesn't help anything. And I'm done being angry about that. And for lunch, I'm going to have chocolate.
Yeah. And for all of your elderly white men being angry about a movie treatment,
stay
keep it
tuned
right
to
here
the
on
internet.
Yeah, so Battlefield 1, that's the thing we keep doing. We've been doing this thing called the IGN Global Battlefield 1 Global Battle with the world. It's been me and James Duggan and a handful of people from all over the office, and we've been shooting the crap out of each other. We've been shooting the crap out of the IGN Australian and UK teams because we don't actually know the history of World War I, and we thought it was when England and Australia and America all fought each other. That's not actually what it was, but we're still doing that. That's, what time is that? I think that's noon tomorrow?
Noon tomorrow,
yeah. So
or 1 p.m.
for
tomorrow.
that. 1 p.m. Tune in for that. It's going to be really fun. And speaking of Battlefield, that's the thing we're doing a lot of here. So right after this, Vince and Bobby are going to be playing Battlefield 1 multiplayer. I hope they play the pigeon mode. Please go tell them I say hello. I like those birds. I like those horses. And I like you guys.
That's right.
Something just fell off of
you
my
broke
chair.
a thing. So just stay tuned, and that'll automatically play. Thank you so much for watching Up at Noon this week. We know it was a doozy. We had a lot to unpack, a lot of news, but that's the fun of all this. Later on today, I'll be recording Nintendo Voice Chat with a bunch of great people here, including Callie. So if you want to hear even more thoughts on the Nintendo Switch and even more, oh, look at that little cat. Just stay tuned to IGN. You're already in the right place, and we love you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Brian. That's Max, and we out. Pikachu slapped himself.